see, look, they putting the red tape up now. Lord have mercy, they putting the red tape up.
People call me a coon all the time because I criticize the culture, but ain't nothing more coon-worthy than terrorizing your own people.
This is the result of your fucking culture.
Listen to the screams of this woman in the background. Do you hear that? It's not white supremacy that caused that.
2:30 in the p.m. Ambulances, police cars, and fire trucks.
I was sitting in the car making content like I always do, and I heard about 13, 14, 15 shots. And next thing I knew, police was speeding down my block to get to this block. Then next thing I knew, there was a police officer escorting an ambulance up my block the wrong way down the runway because the hospital is down the street. So then I get over here, and y'all saw what was happening, so maybe it was multiple victims.
Woo!
It's 2:30 in the p.m. The shooting was at like 2:15, something like that. All these toddlers and babies and women and children, old folks, just on this block alone. Chicago was full of regular people, but the animals who live here don't give a shit.
Put tape up and shit. It's 2:30 in the p.m., y'all. I cannot stress this shit enough. The only reason it wasn't raining last night is because it was literally raining last night. Thank God for all the rain last night. Who knows how many bullets would have been outside last night in the rain? Thank God it was raining last night. We were actually able to enjoy the 4th of July. But as soon as the rain starts, see, look, they putting the red tape up now. Lord have mercy, they putting the red tape up. She just got the news. Poor lady.
Christ, y'all can call me a coon all you want. I ain't never caused nobody no pain like this.
Ever in my life. Never.
Oh my goodness.
Chicago, where were Sonny Hostin and Jasmine Crockett and the rest of them? Nobody talked about this. No, they were out here making a big to-do over some white nationalists marching through DC in Image One here. And these people took the DC train back to wherever they came from. And they made a big deal because there was one black lady on the train, and she was surrounded by these white nationalists. They didn't do anything to her. They didn't assault her. They didn't call her even any names. This was the big issue over the weekend. Nothing about Chicago. Shelley, what are your thoughts?
No, those images, well, particularly that black woman, when I first saw it, that was staged. That didn't happen like that. It did not happen organically. Okay, they didn't just come on that bus or subway and that black lady was sitting there. And you're right, they didn't bother her nevertheless. But it was all for photo ops. Okay, that's number one. But number two, let me say this.
Well, it wasn't staged.
Yeah, I think it was, and unless it was a photo op, unless, and I don't want people to have to do this, but there is no lament, if you will. There is no, like that guy said, that woman, until you have heard a parent, a family member literally howling at the sudden death, horrible death of their loved one, you don't want to hear it, number one. But there's nothing like it, okay? There's nothing like it. And what that man is describing, it seems to happen almost every weekend, because didn't we just talk about these shootouts in Chicago the prior week before the 4th of July? So this seems to be an occurrence, and the media won't show this, number one, because, hey, it's black on black crime. That's what I say. And I'm going to tell you why they won't show it. Because if black people don't care about black lives, why should they? Why the hell should they? This seems to be a recurring incident every weekend. Brandon Johnson doesn't seem to care. Certainly the people who are murdering each other, slaughtering each other, they have no affinity for life in and of itself. These people are animals. They need to be placed in the jungle, dropped some damn where, and let them fend for themselves. Take them from the rest of us, because the rest of us want to live, raise our families, share our values, our faith, things like that. But this is why the media is not going to do this. They're going to show the race stuff because that's what sells. The race baiting sells. It gets the click. it gets the comments, it gets the advertisements, and it's always directional from somebody, a black person being agreed against some white person. Those Patriot Front guys, even though if they're on the right, they're extremists, and we should call them out. Okay, we should call them out. That black girl on that bus or whatever woman, she was not harmed by them, and I still believe it was staged. It was staged to some degree. That's what I believe. But nevertheless, like Attorney Sperling said last week, race sells, race gets the clicks, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Nicole, what are your thoughts? I mean, we're told by the left that white supremacy is the number one issue facing Black America. Doesn't look like it to me when you look at what's going on in Chicago, Baltimore, and Philly.
You know, Black people are not a monolith, as you guys well know. We come in every single variety, and there's a part of our culture, a subculture, that is just eating away at itself. And it's not, you know, I had beef with this person. This is a demonic spirit that has overcome these people, and they no longer see value in life and freedom and all the things that everybody else cherished. And, you know, and it's not just poor people, because the mayor of Chicago, Mr. Johnson, you heard that woman cry out. You heard the misery, the anguish, the heartbreak. You heard her soul crying out. 5,000 other mothers have made that same damn cry since he's been in office. More than 5,000. And he doesn't care. He's unmoved. His fellow Democrats are so unmoved because Black on Black crime is not click-worthy. It isn't. It is not. Unless it's a Black mother who's pregnant getting beat up by some elementary school kids. Now that'll get you some clicks. Let's run with that. But there's not a weekend that goes by where somebody who looks like us isn't gunned down in Chicago. It is a part of their everyday life. And I'm going to tell you, Chicago is a beautiful city. It's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Even the places that are, quote unquote, the bad neighborhoods look pretty good by comparison to some bad neighborhoods we have right here in this beautiful state. It makes me sad when I think about the lives that have been lost. But what makes me even sadder is the people who get elected to office to continue to make sure that it happens. Brandon Johnson has blood on his hands. He has the blood of more than 5,000 Chicagoans who died needlessly on his hands. And you can't blame that on white people. You can't blame that on Black people who don't like this ghetto shit. You can't blame anybody but yourself and that demonic spirit that has overcome you. And the lack of leadership to keep these people, as Shelley said, cordoned off to themselves until they can get the help they need. By cordoned off, I mean prison. Stop slapping them on the wrist and letting them go before the paperwork is damn done. Lock them up. That's what we have jails for. I don't want to hear, the school to jail pipeline. There's a reason for the pipeline. Because if you can't act right in school and you're shooting and killing people on the weekends, what's going to happen when you become an adult? Well, what's going to happen is you're killing people at 2:30 in the afternoon in Chicago. That's what happens.
And
some people are just not right. Some people are just not fit. And we have to come to terms with that as a culture. Some people just ain't going to make the trip. And I'm okay with it. Lock them up.
Yeah. We talked about this on Christian Conservative. Folks, check out at KJ Christian Conservative on YouTube. That the spiritual side of this is, folks, we have a community that is living in unrepentant sin. This is the issue. We used to have back in the day, grandma and auntie and everybody see you doing something and somebody would call you out on it. Oh, you're not supposed to be doing that. That's not right. That's not how we were taught. That's not what. But now everybody's excusing everything. Everybody's saying, oh, that's okay. Let this one move in with this one. Let this one have sex with that one. All this type of crap. Everything is being dismissed. And it's unrepentant sin is the problem. Unrepentant sin. All right. And we talked about that on Christian Conservative last week. But back to that photo of the DC Metro train. Mm-hmm. So they were Patriot Front are the people. Their neo-fascist white nationalist outfit formed post 2017 Charlottesville. Mm-hmm. And they were actually marching in downtown DC on the 4th of July. All right. So apparently that photo was snapped. They had boarded the DC train to go back to Maryland, actually. Okay.
You have to park. Yeah, because you
Right.
can't park in DC unless you have a pass or a Union Station. No, the best places to park, but everybody rides the metro.
Absolutely.
Everybody.
And
Right.
photographer Cheney Orr captured it. Now, what the thing that the left would like, this photo went viral, and the left like said, "Oh my God, this black girl is surrounded by neo-fascist white supremacists." Well, of course, nothing happened to her. But who is this black girl? Well, today video came out. She's some nut. So prior to this video capturing this image, she was on the train. I don't know if she was pleasuring herself or she just was naked. She pulled her pants down and was diddling in her behind and doing all kinds of weird stuff. All right. And so she's got a rap sheet longer than my arm, where she's some type of ex-con and all kinds of stuff. So, but we say all that to say the left tried to paint this as, oh my God, this is what it's like living in America, and actually they should have been afraid. Okay. They stopped her from really having a good time because she was on the train. She pulled down her pants and everything. The video is online. All right.
Do you know what's crazy, KJ, is people like that ride the train, especially metro trains in DC. They're waiting for somebody to fall asleep so they can take your cell phone and pickpocket your money. They do it in almost anywhere where you have a subway train. They wait for tired people to get on the train. You've been working hard all day, and that lulling will rock you to sleep sometimes, and you'll wake up and you won't even have clothes on your back. But you have to keep your head on a swivel. But what I loved about that picture, and when the leftists were having this hissy fit about, oh, the racists are on the train. Well, the racists are at MSNBC too. Let's do that. Just because their skin is white doesn't make them any more racist than your brown skin makes you racist. You said more racist things than these men on this train. In fact, the guys sitting over her shoulder are just sitting there riding the damn train.
That's what I mean by stage. That's what I mean by stage. Not so much that they sat there and posed for the picture. What I mean by stage is that from the cameraman or whoever wrote the article, from their perspective, the journalists, they created this narrative that wasn't so. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Not that the girl, they got the girl and told her to sit there. No, that's not what I'm talking about stage. It's all fake. When I saw that picture, I said, this didn't happen like this. It didn't happen like this. This is somebody.
And they're also talking about how these guys aren't even conservative. People are saying that this unit, and again, I have not confirmed this. It's been alleged they are bought and paid for by Soros. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they've been paid for by him and their foundation to create this idea that white supremacists are taking over the right. Okay, so again, I mean, this is what we're talking about. But guess what, folks? She was safer on that train, her old nasty self, old stinking hand self. She is safer on that train than she is on a train with a bunch of gang members and things in Chicago who look like her.
Who look like her.
Yeah.
What was her name? Arena? Yeah, she was tired. She got on the train.
Yeah.
Arena on the
And you see what happened to her.
Absolutely.
She was sitting there minding her business. Yeah. It's just remarkable to me, though, that they say this: a picture is worth 1,000 words, but this is the part they leave off, and you get to choose them. Because two people can look at that exact same picture and see many, many different things. Right. Now, if they were spitting on her, leering at her, talking all this trash, but it looks like they were just riding the metro downtown like most folks do.
They ignore her like she wasn't even there.
Yeah. All they did was spell her in her stinky hands, smelling like ass, because she just got finished digging in her behind.